Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we're going to be grading every first-round pick of the 2022 NFL Draft. So, starting things off, the Jaguars selected Travon Walker out of Georgia, number 1 overall. So, it was definitely between Aiden Hutchinson and Travon Walker. Walker is an elite run defender, not a great pass rusher yet, but the Jaguars going with Walker, especially in a division that consists of Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry at running back. I think it's a good pick, and he could develop into one of the league's best defensive linemen. I'm going to give them a B-. Actually, I'll give him a B. I had written down B-, but I'm going to up that to a B. Number 2, we had the Lions. They're going to get an A- for selecting Aiden Hutchinson. I like the pick. He's a great pass rusher, keeping him in the state of Michigan. As I said before, they're getting an A-. And I'm just going to try to run through these rather quickly because we do have 32 to get through. Number 3, the Houston Texans gave us our first surprise of the draft, selecting cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU. So he has had injury concerns, and I did not think we would see him off the board before Sauce Gardner. But the number 3 overall pick, I do think it's a little bit high for him. Another one, I'm going to give a B. Number 4 overall, the Jets took the guy I just talked about, Sauce Gardner, out of Cincinnati. I really like this pick for the Jets. They're honestly very lucky that the Texans decided to go with Derek Stingley Jr. over Sauce Gardner. He didn't allow a touchdown last season in college, and I think the Jets are getting the best cornerback in the draft at number 4. Jets get an A for Sauce Gardner. Number 5, the Giants selected edge rusher Kayvon Thibode. So my original reaction to Thibode on the live stream, I didn't really like it at 5. So I still think Thibodeau's a great player. But I didn't like it at 5 because you had the options of the tackle you wanted. But Thibode at 5 gets an A-, and we'll get to the Giants' grade for number 7 in just a second. 6, the Panthers selected Akeem Iguano. He's a vicious run blocker, arguably the best tackle in the draft. They got one of the team's biggest needs. A+ here for the Panthers. On to the Giants at 7, which I referenced a second ago. So the Giants selected Evan Neal out of Alabama at number 7. He's arguably the safest pick in the draft, and I think you're going to have a great tackle combo with Andrew Thomas on the left side and now Evan Neal on the right side. Giants get an A+ for this move. The Falcons selected wide receiver Drake London at number 8. I'd prefer Garrett Wilson, because London is a contested catch wide receiver, and it doesn't always translate completely well to the NFL. But it is getting a need and getting the Falcons weapons, so I'm going to give them a B+ for filling a big need, but as I said, I would have preferred Garrett Wilson. 9, the Seahawks got offensive lineman Charles Cross. So now that Russell Wilson's gone, they're going to be like, oh yeah, now we're going to get you some protection. He is the best pass protector in the class. I like this pick for the Seahawks. They're going to get an A-. 10, the Jets took the guy, Garrett Wilson, I was talking about with the Falcons pick. I think he's the best receiver in the draft, in an elite wide receiver draft class. They get Zach Wilson another target. I like the pick. Jets got a B+. 11, we had the first trade, and the Saints made a trade with the Commanders to move up to select wide receiver Chris Olave out of Ohio State. So I think it was a little bit early for Olave, and that's going to influence my grade a little bit. I think he definitely would have lasted to at least 16. But he's a field stretcher, deep threat, getting the Saints a much-needed target. I don't love the pick, as I mentioned, because I don't think the trade-up was necessary, but the Saints get a B. Number 12, we had another trade. The Lions made a trade with the Vikings to move up and select Jameson Williams out of Alabama. So I think he's probably the best wide receiver in the draft if he doesn't get hurt in the national title game. Good pick for the Lions. They had a very thin wide receiver room. And now getting Jameson Williams, they're going to get a B+. 13, there was another trade. The Eagles made a trade with the Texans to move up to 13 and pick nose tackle Jordan Davis out of Georgia. So now nobody's going to run the ball against the Eagles. They have Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis on the same line. And Jordan Davis is an elite athlete for his size. He's 6'6", 341, and the guy ran a 40-yard dash under 5 seconds. He's also got insane other testing numbers from the combine, but that's just one that is insanely impressive. Um, but for the Eagles, they're gonna get B plus for Jordan Davis here. 14. The Ravens picked safety Kyle Hamilton. I think it's a steal if you're getting Hamilton at 14. With Jordan Davis off the board, they took an elite player like Hamilton who could play in the box, and they also don't have to play him at the safety position. They could play him at sort of like a linebacker safety hybrid, because they already have Chuck Clark and Marcus Williams back there at the two safety positions. A dangerous player for Baltimore. They're going to get an A+. 15. The Texans selected Kenyan Green after the trade with the Eagles. So there was a few other minor picks, but the Texans got 15, Eagles got 13. They got an offensive lineman in Kenyan Green, but with Jermaine Johnson on the board, I would have preferred to take the pass rusher, especially because that is a huge team need. And nobody thought he'd fall to 15. He ended up falling to 26. Spoiler alert. But they should have taken Jermaine Johnson. I think it was also a little bit early for Green, but the Texans are going to get a C+ for this move. 16, the Commanders, from the Saints trade, they picked Jahan Datsun. So I like this pick. A lot of people were saying Jahan Datsun was a reach. I think he's a really good player. He's a home run hitter as a type of receiver. He's very, very good with the ball in his hands. He's also very fast. And people are saying Treylon Burks was still on the board. But even with that, I still like Jahan Datsun at 16. I probably would have taken Treylon Burks over him. But when there's such a dynamic player with the ball in his hands, it makes it tough. I do like the pick for the Commanders. They get a B+. 17, the Chargers selected offensive lineman Zion Johnson out of Boston College. So he's a good player. He's more of a guard than a tackle. But with Trevor Penning on the board, and yes, Johnson did play tackle in college, but he's more of a guard in the NFL. So it caught me off guard. Overall, B for the Chargers, but I definitely would have preferred a true tackle to play alongside or opposite Rashawn Slater. 18, the Titans traded wide receiver A.J. Brown to the Eagles for the 18th overall pick, and they ended up getting wide receiver Treylon Burks. He's a big-bodied wide receiver, very, very similar to A.J. Brown. And the Titans weren't willing to pay A.J. Brown, it turns out, and they're getting a very, very similar player, slightly bigger frame, for much, much cheaper. Good pick, B+ for the Titans. 19, here's where Trevor Penning was selected. I talked about him to the Chargers. So, getting another team need, so now they filled two of the biggest team needs. They have, now, wide receiver and tackle. I love this pick. The Saints get an A for Trevor Penning. 20, we finally saw a quarterback off the board. This was the only quarterback selected in the first round. And keeping Kenny Pickett in the city of Pittsburgh, it's a great pick for the Steelers. They're going to get a B-. 21, we have the Chiefs. They traded up, and I thought they were going to jump the Packers for a wide receiver, specifically George Pickens. But they ended up taking Trent McDuffie. They're very lucky McDuffie even made it to 21. I think he was better than this. But it's also going to help them replace Tyrann Mathieu in the secondary. B+ for the Chiefs. The Packers get a C- for selecting Quay Walker. I think it was a little bit early for him. I don't think he'd be gone by 28. So maybe get a better player now. And then go get him at 28. I think you could potentially have even gotten him in the second round. Wasn't great in college. He wasn't even the best linebacker on that Georgia defense. C-, as I said before. 23, the Cardinals traded to the Ravens, and then the Ravens traded to the Bills, and Hollywood Brown was traded from the Ravens to the Cardinals. And now the Bills, they took cornerback Kaiir Elam. Great pick for the Bills, giving them another cornerback to play opposite Tre'Davious White. They're going to get an A. The Cowboys have selected wide receiver, offensive lineman Tyler Smith out of Tulsa. So they lost a few key offensive linemen in free agency, so this definitely makes sense. The Cowboys get a B-. 25, the Ravens selected center Tyler Linderbaum. So they did lose their center Bradley Bosman in free agency. And Linderbaum is a great pick here for Baltimore, B+. The Jets traded to number 26 and got the falling Jermaine Johnson, who was still on the board. This is the steal of the draft for the Jets. So he should have went top 10, definitely top 15. And here at 26, the Jets got him A+ for sure. 27, the Jaguars made a trade with the Buccaneers, and they picked Myles Jack replacement Devin Lloyd out of Utah. So he's a great linebacker in coverage. They're going to get a solid A- here. 28, the Packers took defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt. They passed on a wide receiver, and they did finally get Kenny Clark some help on the interior of the defensive line. B-, Wyatt is a little bit older. He's already 24. I think they also should have gotten a wide receiver. 29, we have the biggest reach of the draft so far, and that is an F for the Patriots, and that is guard Cole Strange out of Chattanooga. This guy played football in the FCS division, and they could have definitely gotten him at their next pick. Big reach here for the Patriots, but knowing the Patriots, he'll be a Pro Bowler in a few seasons. 30, the Chiefs selected edge rusher George Karlaftis. Great value here for the Chiefs. I wasn't that high on Karlaftis, but other people had him going top 20, but I'm going to give him a B+. 31, the Bengals selected Daxton Hill out of Michigan. This could be a sign they're not going to keep Jesse Bates long term because Hill is a safety. I think they should definitely keep Jesse Bates long term because he's one of the best safeties in football. But B+ here for the Bengals. And the last pick, the Vikings took Lewis Seen out of Georgia. He was a good player at Georgia, but was it worth the trade? They really didn't get much back in return for the number 12 pick. They're going to get a C+. So those are my grades for every first-round pick of the 2022 NFL Draft. Let me know if you agree with all my grades, disagree, and why. So if you think a certain team should have gotten an A for this, or just let me know in the comments. And I will be doing a grading the overall draft for every team once the draft is complete. That will probably be Sunday. And I will be doing a live watch party for the Breakers Stallions game. Not sure if you guys are USFL fans, but that will be Saturday at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time. So, if you guys are USFL fans, I hope to see you there. But I do my best to post as often as possible. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.